Hi there. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to Magic Rootwork of Love and Prosperity. And welcome to the video. This video is to help explain a little bit more about what I do. And I love doing this right in front of the sunshine. It's beautiful, right? So I hope that you can see me just fine. I'm Roslyn, and I'm known by Aunt Roslyn, and I'm also known by Shaywa. Shaywa was a very spiritual name given to me during my shamanic training. I spent a year in shamanic training with Lori Lipton in Michigan. She is a master shaman and teacher. She's actually my shamanic mentor, and she was taught by Sandra Ingerman. And if you don't know about Sandra Ingerman, you can look her up, her books. She's on YouTube also, and that is her actual teacher that trained her. Okay, so that's a little bit about my background, especially the shamanic portion. Other than that, I would like you to know that I am from Michigan and I have family from New Orleans, Louisiana, also from Kentucky. Okay, and my background in my family and how I came to know that there was mystery was I was very young. I can hardly remember how young because it's always been part of me. When I was a little girl, I used to ask my parents, why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why is the sun bright? Why, it was like as a child, I had all of these in-depth questions and curiosities where I wanted to look past the surface of everything. Okay. And also, I knew just by other adults who were around me, I knew who was already suffering, who was already functioning from wounds. Somehow I knew they just weren't okay. That was another way that have always been, you know, in depth, looking beneath the surface, looking for ways, what is good, what is not good for us. Those are things that I've done all my life. I also do have a degree. I have two degrees. One is in human services. It's a bachelor's in human services. And I really enjoyed that because I got to spend a lot of time with other people. Even during my internship, I got to do a lot of case management that wasn't really case management. It was really getting to know people, the psychology of family dynamics, and helping people to reunite, doing supervised visits, court reports, treatment plans to really help people who have lost. They've lost a lot. They've lost so many life skills, and some were not to blame at all. Not to blame at all. So we have to be so careful in our lives not to have that judgment there. Sometimes we have that judgment there. I learned a lot from that, and I also picked up on a lot of wounds. I absorbed a lot of trauma from different, people that were around me, different um, amounts of healing that needed to go on. I was picking up on this. I was meeting all of the checkpoints, all the 9 to 5 checkpoints, all of the training at this time, degree at this time, appointments at this time. However, I was becoming more broken and more wounded. And it stayed there for a while. And I think that during my hamster wheel, that hamster wheel we get on with success and, wanting to meet certain checkpoints and which are good for us in one aspect, but not all, especially not for divine feminine, right? So I internalized some of these wounds, some of the pain, some of the feelings of looking deeper and knowing there was more and things, I just wasn't always fitting in either. I felt kind of like, do people really understand me? Do people really understand me? And even though I had talked to someone about this, I didn't find that it was really helping so much. I started to have pain, more and more pain, my neck, my shoulders, um, more trouble sleeping, just different things that, wasn't good for me. And then always being, when we align ourselves to technology all the time, in front of computers all the time, sitting all the time, that created another issue. So eventually I started to look deeper, and I got a recommendation from someone that I really didn't know that well, but we just happened to be talking one day while I think I was at a salon. And I went to someone who they work on different parts of the spinal system, without surgery or anything like that. And I started to do this, and after just maybe 4 or 5 visits, I started to feel much more clear, much more aligned, much more aligned. I was starting to talk more and more as well. And there were times when I just knew I wanted to be so active outside. I was outside a lot. It was turning the beautiful time in Michigan where you can just go to the park and, you just feel so renewed. The spring energy, the springtime coming in. And I noticed that there was this energy, like there's like something above me, and I noticed that it was happening more and more. It was almost like I could get questions answered, like I could ask questions and get them answered because there was an opening way, way above me. And I would look in the sky and I wonder, well, I'm not actually seeing the opening, but I'm aware of it. So I don't know what you would even, how do I really process this? That's how things started. Okay. That's how it started, that I actually knew I was being downloaded. And I knew that it was happening at different times and it was happening more and more frequently. And I had time to explore this journey. I had time to. And as I moved along further, I found my soul tribe. I moved along further. I reached out. I started going to a drumming here, to a meeting here, to a gathering, a meditation here. And I found my tribe. Okay. And when you find your tribe, you just know it. You just know it. Your stories kind of sync together. You feel much more at peace, like you're with your true family, even more so than you may feel with your birth family. Okay. And this is the way it kind of flows along. You have these synchronicities, you have openings. Um, I had started to learn how to go into theta. I learned all about the drum and how the drum is part of each and every one of us. The earth's core, the megahertz there, the ability to go into theta, the ability to see and know and understand and meet your guides, meet even others who've passed on before you, to speak, to get questions answered, to know about your past life, to know and understand the Akashic records, to understand healing and calling in the white light, the peaceful feelings, the confirmation, of who you really are, the actual confirmation of your existence, to understand alchemy, ancestral healing, to understand the moon and how you react and respond in the moon is ancient. All of these things have been going on since ancient times, since the beginning. And here we are in 2018 and 19. We're just, you know, so many of us are just really understanding that. And for me, I really, really understood that years ago when my shamanic journey began. But I just wanted you to understand that, you know, I am so thankful to have met you. And I do see you. I see you. I understand. I see the divinity and the light in you. And I love being able to mentor, guide, and help this way. I use a combination of, universal love, light, and truth, my guides, my ancestors, energy, their love and light. I use moon magic. I use candle magic. I use root work, voodoo, conjure. I love being able to work with roots, like my ancestors did like your ancestors did. Doesn't matter the nationality because these things were put on earth for us. And it's okay. It's safe to explore with good love, light, truth, and healing energy. The ancestral work I feel is so connected with our earth, our actual earth journey. The earth is a living, it's a living creation, the earth, and we're here on earth. We have plants, roots, herbs that were put here for us that help us. They help us in so many ways. And I do know and I understand that's the basis for me when it comes to root work, candle magic, voodoo. I don't do anything negative to hurt anybody. I don't do those things. I wanted you to understand that as well. I do feel there's nothing wrong with calling yourself a light worker. You know, you can call yourself a light worker. I don't get into, arguments about the Bible. I don't get into arguments about you should or should not believe in Christ or not. I don't get into those kinds of arguments. I just believe that we should walk in awareness. You know, it's like a symphony. Our energy, our earth bodies existing here on earth with all of our beautiful plants, herbs, and roots for us. Our beautiful ability that was passed down from our ancestors of the drum, and the ability to access theta and to understand more, to journey more, to heal more, to share also. Because I do see that so many of you, you're on your path to knowing and exploring more, helping more, and aligning to your gifts and aligning to your soul purpose. So I'm always honored to be there in certain ways that you may need assistance. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you feel that you know a little bit more about me. Okay. I'm wishing you all the love, light, and blessings and truth. Bye bye.